Hi, this is Lauren. I'm with Stitch Whisper Designs. It's been over a year since I last posted, but I finally got around to it. Last year, when I did my last video, it was about basic foundation stitches. Foundation stitches are when you are working your first row and your base chain at the same time, and there's a lot of benefits to using foundation stitches, mostly that they are a lot more elastic than using a base chain. You also don't have to work into the base chain, which is kind of nice. So in the last video, I've included the link below. I covered foundation single, half double, and double crochet, and of course you can switch between those two, any of those stitches as you work them. But what happens if you want to use a pattern stitch that involves skipping stitches like shell stitch or V-stitch, where you work a couple stitches into one stitch and then you skip a few and then you work your next set of stitches into the next stitch? Well, I learned how to do foundation stitches from Mary Rhodes, who's my partner at Stitch Whisper Designs, and she's been playing around with foundation stitches for decades, and she's figured out how to do pattern stitches in foundation stitch. Now here's an example of a row of V-stitch that's worked into a base chain, and it's really handy to be able to avoid doing that base chain. I'm going to show you how to do this. This is actually a V-stitch with a single crochet in between each V-stitch. I like to call it scalloped V-stitch. I've used that for a cowl pattern. So if you've bought that pattern, this is a useful video for you, and we'll go over how to work this as a foundation stitch row instead of working into a base chain first. And then the other one that we'll cover is shell stitch. You see I've got, this is also worked into a base chain. But we'll work on how to do this in foundation stitch as well, where you have a single crochet and then you skip two, and then you've got two doubles, a chain, and another set of doubles worked into one stitch together, and then you skip a couple more. So the trick with doing skipped stitches in foundation stitch is that you're not doing chains between your stitches. You're actually doing almost like a treble or a double treble instead. So it has a little bit more substance along the skipped stitches than a base chain would have. So let's start with the scalloped V-stitch. Now a V-stitch is where you have a double and then a chain and then another double. So what we're going to start with is we're going to chain two, and this second chain here, that's like your turning chain, and your first chain is what you're going to work your first stitch into. So we're going to start by doing a foundation single crochet. So I draw up a loop and I yarn over and I draw through one, and then I yarn over and draw through both. Now, if I were working into a base chain like I did over here, I'd have my single, and then I would skip one and then work double, chain, double into the next stitch. Well, there's no stitch to skip over here. So what am I going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over twice. Now one of these yarn overs is for the double crochet and the other one is for the skipped stitch. So now I go back and I work into the bottom of that foundation single crochet, and I draw up a loop, and then I yarn over and I pull through two. That right there is my skipped stitch. It does not look like a skipped stitch, but it is my skipped stitch. Now I'm going to yarn over and draw through one. That's the base chain for my foundation double crochet. That's the first stitch of the V-stitch. And now I finish my double crochet. Now I work my chain and I work the other double crochet into the bottom of that foundation double crochet. Well, now I've done my V-stitch, but now I have to skip one and then do a single crochet. But again, there's no stitch to skip right here. So now a single crochet normally doesn't have a yarn over to it, but remember our yarn over is for our skip stitch. So I yarn over and I insert into the bottom of that foundation double crochet that I did earlier and drop a loop, and I like that. So there's my skip stitch, and now I do a foundation single crochet. So yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm going to yarn over twice because I'm going to my next V-stitch. So I insert into the bottom of my single crochet, and I yarn over and I draw through 2, and now I'm set up to do that foundation double crochet that makes the beginning of my V-stitch. There's the base chain for the foundation double crochet. Now yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over and draw through 2, and that finishes the foundation double crochet. Chain, yarn over, and do my double crochet into the foundation double crochet. And then I yarn over because now I'm going to do my skip stitch and my single crochet. So I go back into the foundation double crochet again and draw up a loop, yarn over and draw through 2, there's my skipped stitch, yarn over, draw through 1, and then yarn over and draw through 2, and there's my foundation single crochet. Now I'm going to go and do my skipped stitch and the foundation double crochet for the next V. I drop a loop, yarn over, draw through 2, there's the skipped stitch, yarn over, draw through 1 for the bottom of the foundation double crochet, and finish off the double crochet, chain 1, and yarn over and do my double crochet into the foundation double crochet. Sorry, that's my daughter in the background. Now I'm going to yarn over for my skipped stitch, back into the foundation double crochet, yarn over, draw through 2, there's the skipped stitch, yarn over, draw through 1 for the bottom of the single crochet, and yarn over, draw through 2 to finish that foundation single crochet. And there you go. And that's the bottom of it. So if you're working into the underside of your stitches, this is what that's going to look like. And it's nice and elastic. And let's compare how that looks. So here's our foundation scalloped V-stitch, and here's scalloped V-stitch worked into a row of chains. And you can see that the bottom, sorry, my yarn's pulling on the swatches. You can see that the bottom of the foundation scalloped V is much more substantial and less wobbly than the bottom where I've used a base chain. So that's how they look side by side. Okay, now let's move on to doing shell stitch. Foundation shell stitch is a lot like working on the scalloped V, although this time we're going to start not with the single crochet, we're going to start with 3 double crochets. So I'm starting with chain 3. Oh, there's my daughter again. She wants to be part of this too. So here's where I'm gonna, with this chain 3, the first chain I made is what we're going to work into to start with, and then these 2 chains here are like my turning chain. They're going to count as 1 double crochet. So I'm going to work double crochet here, and a double crochet here. Now, when I skipped one in the V-stitch, I did my yarn over once when I wanted to go over and do a single crochet next. This time I need to skip 2. So I'm going to yarn over twice and then insert back into that first chain stitch. Draw up a loop, yarn over and draw through 2. So that's my first skip stitch. Yarn over, draw through 2. There's my second skip stitch, and then do my foundation single crochet. Okay, so now I've got my first 3 stitches, so this is like half a shell right here, and then I skipped 2, and then I have a foundation single crochet. Now, I'm going to need to skip another 2 to get over to the next shell. So we yarn over once for every stitch we're going to skip. So 1, 2, and then the first stitch of my shell is going to be a double crochet, so I need to yarn over one more time for that. Okay, and this is a little bit awkward to work with because the angles are weird, but it works out. So now I go into the bottom of the single crochet and I draw up a loop. So now I've got 4 loops on my hook, nope, 5 loops on my hook, and it gets a little bit tight to work with, so be careful about that. But if it's tight to work with, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just having the yarn wrapped around so many times gets a little awkward. Okay, so now here's my first skip stitch. I yarn over and draw through 2. Here's my second skip stitch. I yarn over and draw through 2. And now I'm going to make my foundation double crochet. So yarn over, draw through 1, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. Now I work my second double into that foundation double crochet, and it's just a regular double crochet. Chain 1, and then 2 more double crochets into that same spot. Okay, so there's my shell stitch right there. Now my next thing is to skip 2 more and then do another single crochet. Yes, I've heard. She's very talkative today. So now I'm going to yarn over 2, 1 for each of the skipped stitches. Draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2, and then do my foundation single crochet. And we're going to do all that one more time. So 2 for the skipped stitches, 1 more for the foundation double crochet, go into the foundation single crochet. It can be a little weird to look at. Yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. There are my 2 skipped stitches, and I've got 3 loops on my hook for the double crochet. This is a foundation double crochet, so I yarn over and draw through 1, and that's my base chain, and then finish my double crochet, and then I'm going to finish my shell stitch. My yarn's trying to split a little bit here. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to finish out my little row here by doing my skip 2 and then the single crochet. So draw up a loop, and again I worked into the bottom of that foundation double crochet, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. There's my 2 skipped stitches, and then draw up a loop, or rather yarn over, draw through 1. It's the base of the single crochet, and then finish the single crochet. And this here is how the symmetry scarf pattern starts. So if you bought that pattern, then this is what you're going to do. And actually, in that pattern, you're going to end your row with another group of 3. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So I've got my 3 yarn overs because I'm doing 2 skipped stitches and then a foundation double. Skip 1, skip 2, base chain, finish the double crochet, and then do 2 more double crochets into the same stitch, or into the base chain rather. And there you have it. Okay, and then in the next row I would start out putting a single crochet here and then working the shells here, here, and here, and then ending in another single crochet. Okay, so here's how the underside looks, and here let's compare that to the swatch that I did worked into a regular base chain. And again, having the yarn over and draw through 2 as the skipped stitch creates a more substantial base than working with a chain. So this is a little bit more floppy. And with these kinds of stitches, doing a foundation stitch doesn't really add a whole lot of elasticity, I think, unless you work really tight chain stitches. But I do like that it has more substance to it here at the bottom. So that's that, and I hope you have a great December and a fabulous New Year.